Welcome to Module 6, where we will take a deeper look into the purpose of a green team. Here I want to talk about context regarding terms. I talked a little bit about terms in the previous previous pillar, where we talked about things like CSR, ESG, and sustainability. It's also important to have context for some additional terms. Green. What does that mean? When you talk about your products being eco-friendly, are they really? Having a green team that is fully integrated into what you do as a company will involve asking some hard questions about how you use these terms, what they mean, and how you can maybe switch out what you're saying and how you're saying it. One thing about the term natural, there are no particular certifications associated with the word natural. It does not mean that your product is healthy for people or the environment. And another issue is things like recycled, or especially recyclable. Again, I don't have time to get in depth into that in this particular course. It's just an important thing to be aware of. When considering your why behind a green team, here are some important aspects. It needs to be embedded into your company culture. Doing this will take time, especially if it's not something that has been a high priority in the past. The challenge is to make it relevant to the work you're doing. If you're supporting causes, if you're making changes in how you do things, how are those relevant to your entire business plan? When a green team is done right, it will inspire change at the company. And change is hard. I know that. Sometimes you may need to take things gradually. They may take longer than you expect. I want you to have an idea here of some tools that you can use that will make an effective team, that will be embedded into your company culture in a way that makes sense for what you do, that ties into the mission, vision, and values that we talked about in the first pillar, and that you will affect change in the right direction. In writing Beyond the Green Team, I interviewed dozens of professionals, many of whom worked in sustainability, and many of whom were somewhat disillusioned. Here's a wish list of things that they wanted to see. And perhaps you and your colleagues can relate to this. Perhaps you also wish there were more resources. Perhaps you feel like you have a title and not the authority that goes with it. You may be looking for better ways to really embed sustainability and social and environmental responsibility into your workplace. There can be accidental financial benefits to sustainability, which we will see in an upcoming module when I talk about cost, one of the big obstacles. And there's this desire to do the right thing, especially among younger employees. Not solely, but I will tell you that the young people are very concerned about their future. And if they can do work that helps alleviate that concern, where they feel like they're taking action, they are going to be much more engaged and much better able to help the company achieve its goals towards making a positive difference in society, and you will just have a much more pleasant workplace. On the previous slide, I listed some of the things that people wanted. And what I'm here to say now is that having an effective green team can help fill the gap. It will allow you to allocate resources toward making environmental sustainability a greater priority and allocating them in the right way so that you divide out the workload so that people individually are doing the part that plays best to their skills, interests, and abilities. There's also a piece about messaging. One thing that I often say is it is important to get your internal messaging straight before you rush out with external facing marketing. The marketing department definitely needs to be involved. And often there is a disconnect between marketing and sustainability. That needs to not be the case. You have messaging that is reaching your customers. Is it the right messaging? And the other thing is, if you have an effective green team that has a collection of the right people in the right place, working consistently, you're going to boost morale. You're going to make it a more positive workplace. Now it's your turn. How do you see the purpose of a green team at your company? Whether you have one already and you want it to evolve or to be more broadly applicable throughout your company, or whether you're just starting a new one. You might want to look back at those wish list items on an earlier slide. Which ones ring true? I also invite you to talk to your colleagues. Do they agree with you? And speaking of talking with your colleagues, you may want to encourage them to enroll in this course as well, and to join with them in the peer coaching circles and with people at other companies to hear what their questions are. Here's to collaborating together. I will see you in the next module.